Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside and a very warm, toasty end of October. Today we are going to be installing the irrigation in the signature garden. This is the next step before we can begin planting. So we are going to be having all the equipment out here and getting the irrigation set up and ready to go here in the Proven Winner signature garden at Creekside Nursery in Dallas, North Carolina. But yes, this is Monday. We're filming this on Monday. You'll see this on Wednesday. It'll actually be November 1st when you see this. Today we are scheduled to break records for heat. So Jenny is in a t-shirt and shorts. It is supposed to get up to be like 83, 84 degrees here. Crazy weather here at the end of October in North Carolina, but it is what it is. We are going to do the irrigation today. I am standing here at the edge of the signature garden. You may hear Jerry over there on the Bobcat. We're going to go look at that in just a second. To give you an update on all you sweet people who love Miss Brenna, she is in today's video. She is here. You will notice though that she has her purple long leash on her. She is tied to Johnny because I cannot trust Miss Priss not to go jump in the pond or the creek, and she cannot get her incision wet until we got a whole another week to go. And so if y'all are like, what in the world? So she got spayed last week, a week ago tomorrow. She got fixed. So we don't want any puppies around here, and so she got fixed. She's 2 years old. It was time for her to get fixed, and we are having to keep her out of the creek and the pond, which she loves to get in, and on today especially with the heat, that's where she wants to be. But it's either here or in the kennel at the house, and poor child has got some cabin fever and wants to be outside. So she is here, but she is tethered to Johnny. She is doing great. Recovery is doing wonderful. So thank you for all your thoughts and prayers, because a lot of people have been checking on her. She's very happy. She's looking for yellow jackets. She's fine. All right. So what we're going to do, let's go over here first of all and look at what Jerry is doing. Okay. Footprint of the more formal area of the Proven Winner signature garden. It is going to be, see the post here, straight lines, very formal. The unique stone fountain will be in the center of this garden, and Jerry is working behind the two raised beds, the berm, whatever you want to call it, right? And he is digging out the drainage ditch because nothing is flat here at Creekside, and of course we want to make sure that the water flows quite nicely. So what's happening here is this is the beginning of the signature garden. Of course, the shrub lot for our retail customers is there. We do have drains that will empty into this, that currently do empty into this. It's always been kind of a nice little swell right here. So what he's doing is he is taking the bucket of the excavator and digging a trench. You will notice here in the beginning it is quite shallow, and then as he makes his way down the length of the garden, it gets deeper and deeper. He's just straddling with the machine there, and then he is throwing the excess soil up into the raised beds. So you can see he's just coming in, scooping, and then sending it over. As he has gone down, like I said, he has made it deeper and deeper. You will notice that there is that black pipe down there. Obviously that pipe is higher than what the ditch is, so we are going to lift that up and then bury it deeper so that water flows out. Probably not going to move that pipe today, just because that's just a little bit more than what we want to do today. We really want to get the irrigation in so that way we can begin planting this week on those, especially this area right here, because I think we'll be able to do these raised beds here first. As far as how we're going to handle the kind of the drainage ditch, he's going to come back through and fill the drainage ditch with washed stone. I believe this is a 12-inch bucket that he has on there. So it's 12 inches wide, and so we'll fill it up all with washed stone, gravel, right? So this is washed stone right here, and fill that up, and then we'll come back and top dress it with, of course, that nice decorative like river rock, so it looks really pretty. That way irrigation water from either the shrub lot, rainwater, drainage, we have springs that come up all around the place, so all that water will come down here, flow very nicely, and then into the little culvert pipe, and then out she goes, because we want the garden obviously to be nice and well draining. So that's what he's working on now. He's almost done with that, and then the next step is, let's talk about that. As soon as he gets done digging that ditch, that trench, he is then going to come and do basically the same kind of ditch around the perimeter of the whole garden, because that is where the PVC pipe is going to go for the irrigation. Speaking of PVC, here we have our PVC pipe. This looks to be like it is 1 inch slick PVC that is going to go in and be carry the water all the way around the signature garden. So you can see probably we have the 4 corners marked with rebar, and it has the orange survey tape on it. So those are the 4 corners of the signature garden, and then that PVC pipe is going to come right on the edge of the garden all the way down. It has been quite a process on how we're trying to figure out exactly what type of irrigation we're going to be using in the garden. We originally said we were going to do drip. We were going to lay drip down underneath the grass and the sod, so that way we could sub-irrigate the grass, because we're going to have grass paths through here. We've gone back and forth, and we're like, no, don't really like that idea. Then we're going to run drip tube through the flower beds. But then, because this is the signature garden and we will constantly be in here adding plants, tweaking, the annuals of course will be taken in and out and brand new every single year. And when you have that with those that brown drip tube, it just increases the likelihood of people cutting that pipe, which is not that big of a deal to fix, certainly, but if we can just kind of avoid that, that's what we're going to do. So we've gone back and we've decided, okay, we're going to do some overhead. So we're going to have pop-up sprinklers that he has them all marked out. We'll get him on camera and let him tell you exactly where they're going to go. But we have pop-up sprinklers that will come up throughout, mostly on the perimeter of the gardens, and they will overhead water the whole entire garden. So the only area that we might do drip tubing would be those raised beds, just because they're raised up and we can easily put the drip tube there. We're going to have sprinter boxwoods in there, little lime punches, and then annuals on the front edges of the raised bed, so that won't be such of a big deal to avoid the drip tubing on that. So he's going to wrap up, and then hopefully get Jackson out here too. We'll have them both going on the machines. He does have the little bobcat, so we're just going to see how the day goes. We're going to try to get it done today. We'll see how it goes. It's already lunchtime, so fingers crossed. right, my friends, we are making slow progress here, but progress is being made. When you're trying to trench lines where there is a lot of main water lines and electrical lines and drain lines, you have to be very slow and very cautious, and that just takes a lot of tedious work. We are now moving and grooving because we have gotten past all of the major roadblocks, at least for this side. So you just saw a lot of work being done. Let me show you and explain what you saw happening. All right, so I am still standing here right on the edge of the shrub lot, and then you can see Jerry back there, of course, trenching with the Bobcat. What we were working on for quite a little while there was in this irrigation box right here. So in this box, you will see there are 2 irrigation valves in there. Yes, there's water. That's just runoff from the overhead sprinklers. It's fine. There's nothing has been busted. But out of that comes the main water line. So that is that white PVC pipe that you see right there. That's where we had to be very, very cautious. Obviously, you don't want to hit the main water line. We are going to put another one of these valve boxes in this general area right here with all of the valves that will control the irrigation for the signature garden. So we basically had used the excavator, of course, to trench this out. And then this is where, with this trench, this is where we're gonna have, I believe it's gonna be 3 lines come off of this, 3 PVC lines. So 1 PVC pipe is gonna run all the way where Jerry just did, and that will control 5 of the sprinkler heads within the signature garden. 1 is gonna shoot straight up on the raised beds, berm, whatever you wanna call it, and will control that area. And then the 3rd one is going to, we haven't trenched this yet, it is going to come and basically come right here and run right here at the length of the berm, and that will then control 5 more sprinkler heads on that back area over there. So that is the deal with that. If you were noticing, we did hit a couple of things. So 1, this wire right here, this is from the old greenhouse, so it is null and void. Does not work. It is totally fine. It wasn't even connected, so that is totally fine. And then you might be able to see the sun is not working in our favor right here. Right here, there's black corrugated pipe. He ripped that in half. Again, old line, not in use, so that is perfectly fine. We can either just keep burying it or we can cut it off. Not a big deal. What was a little bit of a big deal. Camera was not rolling at that point, and probably was a good thing. Right here, you will be able to see the remnants. Oh, the sun, y'all. I tell you, the sun. Let me move over. So what you do see is a large PVC pipe that has been busted. I think this is like a 6-inch pipe. This carries water away, so it's a drain pipe. So we have multiple French drains that feed into this, and then it flows excuse me, out of the gardens. You can see that he did do a great number on it. It was right there in the middle of the trench. He thought he had gotten past it because there's a rebar stake right there that denotes that's where it is going, but it was at an angle. He thought that it was going straight across, so he thought it was kind of a little bit more closer to where the shovel is, but it's not. It is at an angle, so discover that. So it's not going to be hard to fix it. The worst part was, of course, digging it out. So what we'll do is cut on each end, get a nice clean cut. Then we will get some different couplers, whatever, and then piece it back together. To show you how incredibly dry it is, notice there is no water coming out of that pipe. That whole area is completely dry. We have no water flowing, so at least there's that. It could be a big old muddy mess right there, but it's not. So there you go. And then, like I said, he is working his way back down towards the other whole perimeter of the signature garden. You might notice that there are some red flags that go through here. That is where the internet fiber line is. And when he put it down, he buried the wire, right? The fiber. And then he put some of that yellow caution tape on top of it. And so he dug down. The fiber line is quite far down in there. That yellow caution tape just gives us a clue, like, hey, watch out, there's something underneath here. So everything is fine there, did not hit anything. And then right kind of where that shovel is that's sticking out of the pipe, out of the trench, that is where we have an electrical line that is running to the fountain. And yeah, so it's like a lot of little mini landmines all around here. So he's getting ready to get close to the fiber line again. Let's walk down there and I'll show you that. You can see we're right here on the corner, the back corner of the signature garden. Of course, this is the pond. Got a couple leaves in it. So here we have the corner. The actual, where the rebar is, that will be the actual end of the flower bed. So we're right here on the edge of it. So what he's doing now, of course, is running, because there's going to be a sprinkler head right there near the fountain. There'll be one on each side of that. So he is shooting down towards there. But everything, yeah, it's not going to be a perfect line right here. You can see it's got a little sway to it. But down here, it is a lot straighter. And then he is, of course, working that whole system to get that sprinkler head to the fountain right there in the middle. So we're just going to keep doing this. So we're going to get all these trenches dug, get them cleaned out, and then once we're done and we're ready to move on to the next step, we'll meet back here. All right, my friends, so for all of you lovely technical people that want to know how Jerry does irrigation, you're about to get a little class going on it. First, we got all of the trenches are done. We have it marked where we know that the sprinklers are going to come in, and so that is good. So now what he is doing is he is creating the manifold. Correct. He goes, yes. Now he is not mic'd up. We'll try to get him on my mic and so that you can hear what he is saying. My man doesn't like to wear a microphone when he's working, so y'all just gonna have to, we're gonna do the best we can here, folks, all right? We don't have a film crew. It's called Jenny and Jerry doing it all together. Here we go. All right, so I do know this. What he is doing is we just cut some little, I don't know, maybe 6-inch pieces of the PVC. He gave me a...
Six of them.
Yeah. That's about, so yeah, so there's 6 of them, roughly about 6 inches long. He is priming them right now, and we're going to, so these are the valves that control when the irrigation cuts on and cuts off. So he has to build out the whole little spec using the little pieces that we cut, the extenders basically is what they are. And then we have T's right here that those little extenders are going to go into.
Yeah, that's all 1 inch.
All 1 inch.
And these are Hunter PGV valves, 1 inch. Yeah, so we like to use these, and I like to put all of the valves in one box. So all my wiring, everything's in one box. Some folks will run main water throughout. You may have seen some of the trenching going on. So some folks may run just a main water line, break off, put a valve, and then continue on. Our front yard is that way, but then you have to run more wire too. But also too, we like it is that if we got an issue, we just come straight to this main big valve box, and all the valves are there, and we can maintenance those. Because from time to time, these PGV valves, they have a little diaphragm in them, and depending on your water or circumstances, they can get a little crusty or just like a little bit of a film on them, and it just allows the water to seep through. So that's what these four bolts here are for. The screws, they come out, and you can just replace everything on there. These are real simple. Everything on here can be replaced. So that makes it real simple for us. And I always use it's like a wet and dry mix. Always, I just always have it on hand because it seems like we are always doing a repair or something, or the pipe is wet, you know, somewhere. So I just always have the blue, you know. So.
Yeah, because it can either always be wet or raining,
Yeah,
or whatever. So this is the glue.
I like to punch it in and then twist it a good twist to kind of mix that glue all the way around.
Good deal.
Yep. So then we just kind of go through and put this guy together, and each one. And then you get this one on there. You want to make sure you're not crooked. You gotta be pretty quick. It is fast.
It is fast and it is sticky. So this is what he was saying. You don't want it crooked. So you don't want the T whopper jawed, because you're going to have a line, and these other little guys are all going to connect each other.
Yep.
So you need everybody to be on the same plane.
And the tip, I've got this thing set up, and you know, all the arrows, this is water flow. Water's coming in, water's going out to each zone or each sprinkler from here. We actually have to do 3, we just don't have the 3rd valve for some reason. So we're going to
Make it work.
we're going to just go ahead and put it together, and then that way it's easy to put that in, you know. I have put it on backwards before
That's fun.
in a big hole that was hard to get to, and I had to cut it out. So that's the other thing, is if you ever have to cut one out, you see where that 6-inch pipe is there that we've created, so that way you have enough room to cut it, you know, and you know, replace your valve if you have to.
Right. And so all of this whole manifold, as he calls it, is going to go where I showed you back closer to the barn, where the main line is. We already have the one control box with all of the irrigation valves. This one's going to go right next to it, because that's where that main water line is. So that way all of the valves are in one central location. And like Jerry said, you can, you know, put the valves at each individual sprinkler, but then you got to run electrical lines, because this does run on electricity, so it turns on and off with electricity.
I'm gonna tell you what, like now we've been in our yard for, you know, how long? I mean,
20 years.
20 years, and there has been so much, you know, change over 20 years, and those things have gotten covered up, and then we have, I don't even know where some of them are, you know. So that's why I like it all in one box, and you can get it all fixed.
So you see what he did there is he's now then connecting them with those other little spacers, the same ones. They're all the same, roughly 6 inches. And there was no, you just chose to, I mean, they've obviously got to all fit inside that big green box. So you don't want them too far spaced out, but you know.
Yeah, you can put the box like, right here or something like that.
Right, right. So you can, he just knows from experience that's roughly about this, excuse me, the length that you want those little pipes to be. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. We're just gonna keep doing this and then we'll see where we get. So it's not hard, it is time consuming.
It's tedious.
Trenching, this is one of my more favorite parts, is just putting it together.
You mean you don't like trenching and digging
and digging
out you know, trenches and getting in there and hitting rocks and all the other fun stuff?
Then you have to go back because you have to have little lines going back to your sprinklers. So you go through your little clean trench and then you have to go back and shovel it out.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna let him continue putting the manifold together, and then I think well, there you go. It's done.
All it's missing is that. And we're going to do this. I want to tell you this though, is we are going to do this because at the back end of our manifold, which is going to be that side, we're going to come off with the main water line and continue out up behind the fountain. So this gives you a couple of things. This is going to be berm, zone 1 and zone 2 sprinklers, and then this is future. So you could put an elbow here with a cap, or we're actually doing an elbow off and then we're running main water out of here. So we can always go back into that at any point, but we're going to do that as future. So it's always nice to add that on. A lot of guys and request that too from your contractors. They sometimes won't do that because they just do just what is necessary.
Right, and they would cap it right here.
Yeah, or they just put an elbow.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, got it. All right, on to the next thing.
Yep.
All right, my friends, so what we're gonna do is, the day is getting away from us, so we're just gonna go ahead and get this one line all connected and show you how we're gonna do it. All right, so.
And this one zone has 5 of these sprinklers, 5 of these sprinklers. This one zone has 5 of these sprinklers. And notice, go ahead and tell them.
Oh yes, see how tall this is? This is what, 18 inches?
12.
That's 12 inches? Okay, 12 inches. So the reason that we went with super long is because it's going in a garden, and when it is activated and turns on, it will come up and it will be able to get above the plants that are right here. So for example, if I had petunias right here on the corner, it would get above the petunias and be able to spray water. The plant won't stop the water from hitting. All right, so what we have is the 1-inch PVC pipe goes all the way down. This is the main water line, all the way down. We cleaned and glued and primed and all that stuff all the way down. And then Jackson's being our cameraman today. So what we have here is where the sprinklers are going. We cut the pipe and then we put in this little, what do you call that? I don't know, adapter, whatever.
Yeah, adapter.
Adapter, there you go.
Right, elbow.
And so Jerry is putting in the funny pipe, and the funny pipe is solid 1/2-inch tubing that is extremely like stiff. And the reason it is because if you bend it, it won't kink. So all it is going to connect that, and then he's going to cut it to where the sprinkler head is, and then connect that as well. So he just has to cut and then stick it in. This would be exactly how you would do like brown drip tape that we always use, except this pipe is specifically meant to do this, and it's very, very tough, very heavy duty, and that's why he is putting it on together and not Jenny. So as far as the sprinkler goes, now that he's all connected and he's putting it down just right there at ground level. This particular sprinkler has a hard right stop. Hopefully I'm saying all this correctly. He was coaching me up. A hard right stop, meaning that we know that it is going to be, he's lining up that arrow straight with the other rebar that's back down there all the way on the other end. So that is where the sprinkler is going to stop. It will not go past that point right there. He needs a rock. He needs a shovel. Hold that thought, people. All right, so he's using some good old red clay because he needs to make sure that the sprinkler is going to be put in place and is not going to move. Great thing about clay, it'll compact quite nicely. So he's doing that. Back to this particular sprinkler, it's basically going to spray at a 90-degree angle. We will adjust it when the time is right so that it does not go really kind of like past this trench line over here. It will not go past this trench line over here. There you go. I'm getting my cameraman back focused here. So it will do exactly a 90-degree angle, and there you go. So that is the first one, and then we've got, there's 10 in the whole signature garden, and there's gonna be 5 per zone on this one. On this particular line straight down, there'll be 3. So we've got 1 on each corner and then 1 in the middle. There you go. And then we'll have the 5th one will be kind of where the camera is, down there, and then the other one will be down closer to the fountain. So those are your 5. So what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna try to get these on this line here today, and then probably call it a day for today.
Back off, Jack.
All right, my friends, as my husband just said, all right, it's enough for today. It is 3:45 in the afternoon, and we're calling it quits. It is afternoon coffee time. We've had enough ditch digging for the day. We're gonna do the exact same thing on everything else, right? So now that you have seen the process, we're gonna lay that PVC pipe down, we're going to prime it, we're going to glue it, we're gonna put it all together. Then where the sprinkler heads are, then we're gonna put that adapter, we're gonna run the funny pipe, and then bury those sprinklers so that they're going to be flush with the ground. Again, they're going to pop up 12 inches. It's going to be great. That way they're not going to hit the plants. So we're going to work on this probably again tomorrow. So I think tomorrow what we'll do is we'll kind of wrap it up for you, show you kind of the end result. The new drone just arrived. Jackson, that's why he came over. He was like, the drone came, and he said it is tiny. So we are excited to put the drone up. That will be in tomorrow's video, where we will throw the drone up, show you how we finish out this project, and then we'll go on and do some something else. We'll see where the day takes us. As always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside and joining us on this crazy venture that we call life. And never boring around here, my friends. We will keep you updated on the signature garden. Of course, we hope to get plants in this week. The raised bed, the berm, I want my sprinter boxwoods in there, and my little lime punches will all go in. Cannot wait for that. As always, appreciate you. See you in the next video. Bye, friends. All right. You have a word?
I do have a word.
This is bonus edition.
Yeah, bonus edition. I could not get my trencher over there, but if I had had my 5-inch power planter auger, I could have popped multiple holes all the way to where that sprinkler's going, and then it would have been so easy to dig out.
Yeah, you didn't think about that though, did you?
I didn't. But
yeah.
I'll have it down here tomorrow.
Have it down here tomorrow. All right, bonus word from Jerry. Bye, y'all.